Okay, everybody, is it just me, or has this summer been flying by really fast? Like, the fact it's already July is just kind of crazy because I do remember not too long ago it was May. But with 4th of July around the corner, I want to talk about our country, America, and the state it's currently in right now. Now, being an American for the past like 20 plus years has been an interesting experience, because we've been told our whole lives that, this is the most powerful country in the world, this is the greatest country, and I do agree that this is the most powerful country in the world when it comes to our military. I do respect all the troops and everyone that do go and sacrifice their lives, and I do pay their respects hella. But with all due respect to everybody is, I realized as I became an adult and got into the workforce is, America is not as free as they advertise themselves to be. Now, no one here is necessarily a slave in terms of like having slavery not getting paid. That's not the part I'm talking about. I'm talking about the part where its system is very designed for people to keep working certain things that they don't want to do. Now, it's really hard, but I will say is that the freedom of choice is in a big illusion when it comes to anything political or the system itself. The only thing y'all should vote for, by the way, I do think is state electoral decisions, like anything that benefits the state. But anything outside of like the electoral college that determines that, like presidency, I would not do that, because at the end of the day, guys, voting is not determined by the popular vote. But I think we can all agree that the state of our country in the last 6 years is entirely different than it is now. I think the biggest difference with our country nowadays is that like the grocery prices are so crazy now that our old prices are now like a rollback price. It's kind of insane, because when I see the state of like stuff here in America and then I compare it to other countries, it's gotten a lot less cheaper in other countries for certain things. Now, don't get me wrong, not every country's cheaper, but there's a lot of countries that benefit a lot of cheaper stuff than it does right now. It fucking blows my mind when I compare the difference too. But the very first thing that kind of led me to question this type of state in mind in this country is that when I first graduated high school, and I found out that I got this form to fill out a thing for the draft for a future military thing in case there was another draft going on, and this was 8 or 9 years ago. Damn, that's so long ago. But anyways, I saw that and I was a little confused. As I don't really want to go because, it's a free country. I thought I can kind of choose whenever I don't want to go because military is voluntary for what I know, right? But then when I do my research, dude, I was kind of shocked and stunned that apparently if you don't sign up for the draft of any kind, you can go up to 5 years in prison and get a big $250,000 fine. And that right there got me to questioning a lot of shit. I was like, but this is a free country. But then I found out that other things America was doing too in the history, and I kind of realized other things that was going on in the government as I got older, and I was like, damn, man. I go, maybe we're not as free as we once thought we were. The illusion of freedom of choice whenever you work is one thing, but the freedom to kind of do whatever you want is kind of not true, because you can get punished for literally no reason for doing something like not signing up for the draft. It's definitely a tough pill to swallow too, because I'm someone who's not really super anti-American like that. I do not always agree with everything, but for the most part, dude, I don't really hate my country, and that's the part that kind of makes me really disappointed a little bit. It's a little sad. And the craziest thing I want to talk about too is that I was talking to a coworker who happened to be a 65-year-old retired veteran that served in the army, right? And he was even telling me that we did not fight to defend this type of shit. They did not fight for this. It really made him upset because he was telling me his perspective of things, of how different things used to be, and things were a lot more promising than they are now. The total corruption apparently has totally fucking fucked everything up, and it's really sad that even older people are now recognizing this type of situation. It's fucking insane. In my honest opinion, in order to be free in this country, in America, is you got to find the information that's not going to be presented to you in your face. So that means it's not going to be presented to you in the media. You got to be able to either do research about it, talk to friends, get information, important information, to find valuable information to help you work with flexible shit. Because I gotta say this, if it wasn't for me, using Google, being resourceful at all, and talking to other people about certain things, or being proactive in my lifetime, I probably would not make my life as easy as it is now. I do feel like a lot of people's lives are a bit harder just due to the stubbornness or what they've been told to do their whole lives. I kind of treat this like an obstacle, where you kind of have to navigate your own path in order to figure out what works and what don't. The best way for me is using YouTube, right? YouTube is such a very powerful powerful tool when it comes to making your life easier whenever you like it or not. Now you gotta be very careful, make sure things are not a scam, because that's where things get rough too. But over time, if you've been on the internet long enough and you YouTube certain things, there's a lot of opportunity out there that's not been told to you by anything to kind of make your life a bit easier. Apparently now there's even apps where you can cater food to other people, which is kind of crazy. Now, I don't really deliver food anymore or nothing, but the fact that it's even there for people who need it is kind of insane, right? And it's not really told by anything but the internet itself and other forms of, entertainment. Another thing a lot of people don't have too is that discipline, because that discipline is kind of what's going to create your own path for a nice and better life, for freedom, or just, better flexibility with your life. America may not be as free as other countries, but I will say it is definitely a bit easier once you get more knowledgeable, and that's all I'm going to say. Anyways, everybody, thank you guys so much for listening. What are your guys' opinions about our country of America? Do you think it's actually doing pretty good and it's being underappreciated? Do you guys think that it could be better, or do you guys really love your country still? Feel free to let me know any comments in the comment section below, because all criticism, no matter the topic, is welcome. Alrighty guys, life update for you. So this last couple days I was off work, used some PTO because my buddy was coming down, and I actually did fix my car. It took a lot longer than expected, because trying to get those spark plugs out without any magnetic sockets are such a pain in the dick, right? It is not easy, but I will say it was a fun and interesting learning experience, because now when I know how to replace basic things like spark plugs or even like ignition coils and shit, it'll make it a bit easier knowing now what to do. And I gotta say, dude, I don't know if it's just me, but I have a Japanese foreign car. It's an old school Mitsubishi Lancer, and gotta say, those cars are built very differently than other cars I've seen. Those R cars honestly are a fucking pain in the ass when it comes to parts, because it is cheaper, but man, if you don't know how to do it without a modern setup or layout, you're gonna have a hard time, because my buddy was used to newer cars, so it was such a pain in the ass trying to navigate shit while learning on YouTube as well. But the coolest thing too is that my buddy, who was a certified mechanic, right, I called him up, asked for some advice on certain things, because I did not want to screw it up and have this car break down, because no one likes to drive a car that does not work. And the crazy part is, when I did fix everything, put everything back together, I tried to twist, start the ignition, and the car was not starting properly. But I come to find out that you have to set the spark plugs a certain way for the cylinders to go off in the right starting order. And that shit kind of surprised the shit out of me, because when I was doing it, it sounded like the car wanted to blow up or reject the engine. It was crazy. The engine was shaking so much, dude. It felt like it was going to be like Chain Chomp from Super Mario 64 and run away from me or something. It was crazy. This car is a little old, but eventually I'm definitely going to save up to get a different used car, because, I still don't feel like getting a car payment, because fuck that, dude. Because every couple years I buy a new car either outright in cash, or try to, maybe if I were to get a car payment, finance a cheaper one for a couple $1,000s, because bro, who the hell finances $100,000 car when they're making $30,000 a year? That couldn't be me. Also, to keep in mind too is that I'll be working a lot this upcoming week starting tomorrow, so I'll be working 6 days a week. So if I don't see a video very soon after this, or not very often, that's the reason why, because I'll be fucking locking in like crazy, working 60-hour weeks for 2 weeks, because that money's gonna be great, dude. I'm excited, but at the same time, bro, it's gonna be tiring, but you gotta do what you gotta do. You guys take it easy, and I'll see y'all later.